I, Daniel Blake, Cinematic Language and Social Realism. I, Daniel Blake, a truly eye-opening, heart-rendering movie with a real sense of verisimilitude. The film, directed by Ken Loach, is a story about a 59-year-old widowed carpenter named Daniel. A recent heart attack leaves him unable to work, and despite the doctor's diagnosis, the British authorities deny him the benefits he is entitled to. The protagonist then tries to go through the agonising appeal process, only to be met by brick walls at every turn, when he stumbles across a single mother trying to take care of her 2 children. The film journeys through their bond as they support each other through their shared circumstances. Ken Loach perfectly captures the hard-hitting truth about what it's like for those living under the poverty line. His use of camera angles, mise en scène, sound, casting choices and location all help the story come to life. Most of the film is captured inside, which shows that the struggles that are happening to Daniel are all personal and makes the audience feel like they are getting a real insight into what is going on in his life day to day. A 2023 Guardian article further perpetuates my point by saying, "It's a film about austerity. It wears you down as a viewer. You feel like you're on a journey with Daniel, and you feel an overwhelming frustration about his plight." The shots that Loach uses are really significant. A lot of the shots are filmed at head height, which adds another sense of personalisation and helps the audience to experience what the character is going through from their point of view. The absence of score in I, Daniel Blake emphasises the sense of reality. Throughout the film, there is no non-diegetic sound, which doesn't distract the audience. The film is not a charity advert. It's a hard-hitting movie about the corrupt benefits system. The absence of sound is just as important as the actual sound in the movie. Loach evokes emotion through the characters and the subject matter, as opposed to a musical score. In fact, the absence of any music is deafening. The film is cast in a special way to add to the idea of verisimilitude. Most of the actors are non-professional, either extras or playing themselves with their day-to-day involvement in the workplace, sometimes without a script, making the film more natural and relatable. This gives the characters a sense of realism and depth. I, Daniel Blake demonstrates how the effects of UK cinema through the years has been extremely impactful for today's society. A book called Don't Look Now, British Cinema in the 70s talks about this. In chapter 11, a quote from a man named Kun stood out to me. He says, "Evoke the experiences that are fundamental to some of the process through which we become human beings." This suggests that cinema can be really impactful in people's lives. In fact, I, Daniel Blake actually appeared in the House of Commons when Jeremy Corbyn recommends to Theresa May that she go and watch it to emphasise his point.
Mr. Speaker, could I recommend the Prime Minister supports British cinema and takes herself along to a cinema to see a Palme d'Or winning film, I, Daniel Blake? It is time that we ended this institutionalised barbarity against often very vulnerable people.
The mise en scène in I, Daniel Blake is urban and grey with very little colour, as a stark contrast to a countryside. The mellow blue undertones emphasises the emotional sadness and depression in the film. The Guardian article writer states, "You'd pass Daniel Blake in the street and not notice him. And yet, Ken Loach has turned the camera around and moved me to tears."